What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Styles Exchange. Good to be here as always. My name is Ari, and I'm with my co-host Mike. How are you today, Mike?
Dude, I'm doing great. Just play Lego Star Wars, Skywalker Saga, that is. But yeah, I'm doing well. I can't wait to talk about it. And Ari, how are you doing today?
I'm
How's it been
doing all
going?
right. I'm doing good. I've also, been chipping away at Lego Star Wars, same as you. Um, but yeah, I'm keen to get into this talk. We planned on doing this a bit sooner, but it's kind of hard to have a take on a Lego game, so we needed a bit more time to sort of get through the game. Mike's polished it off. He's just finished the game. In terms of just the movies, we mean. I'm
Hmm.
still getting quite slow. I've been quite busy lately. Not that Mike's not busy, but you know how it is. Sometimes it's it's hard to push yourself to play Lego. But
Right, right.
yeah, I'm like somewhere in the original trilogy right now. But yeah, Mike, let's just start it off. How are you enjoying the game? What's your overall thoughts? Tell us.
So yeah, it's there's levels that I just love, and I think the meat of the game is the free roam, is the free play, whatever you want to call it. I think that's where I have the most fun. I feel like a little kid again. I'm very excited to be flying around. We got a little bit of that like open world exploration in that Lego Clone Wars game they released like in 2011, but this game just takes it up to like takes it up like 10 notches or whatnot. So with this game, I'm having so much fun. Feel like I'm playing, the complete saga once again. In there's just some levels and free roam that just reminds me so much fun that I had with the complete saga as a kid. So it's very much fulfilling, and I have some gripes with the game. I mean, besides a whole bunch of bugs that I've encountered that have stalled my gameplay like 5 times, that I've had to like close the application, start up the game again. Besides that, I think there's just some of the I thought I was gonna have the most fun in the prequel levels. Turned out to be quite the opposite. I had most fun in the originals. Sequels were a lot of fun too, and I made me appreciate a lot of aspects of the movies. So I was like, wow, like yeah, it's cool when it's simplified like that. So yeah, but the originals, that's where I had most fun in, especially New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Felt like I was playing the complete saga once again. Prequels, man, oh man, it was very disappointing. There's no Battle of Coruscant. What was up with us having to confront Palpatine as Mace and Kit Fisto and then just stand there and watch a cutscene happen?
Yeah,
I don't know. And I think, there's a term you use, but I don't know if we could use it in the podcast. You said yesterday when we are talking about the game. It
yeah.
starts with blue.
I can't even remember, to be honest.
Blue. The game feels blue. I'm not gonna say it. I don't know. I
Don't
don't
risk
care.
it.
No, no, no. But I know, we've been streaming on YouTube, you playing the game and having, our community watch you and experience the game with you, I think has been a lot of fun. So we've gotten a lot of your takes, but right now, how are you feeling about the game and are you eager to jump back in?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, overall, it's fun. Like, it's a fun Lego game. That's the bottom line, really.
Right.
Um, and yeah, but I don't know. I haven't just been as drawn to playing it as I thought I would be. I thought it would be one of those games where, it comes out, I put the disc in, and then I just play the whole thing straight in one day or something like that. But it's honestly been quite the opposite. As you know, some of the Stars Exchange listeners and YouTube subscribers would know I've been streaming a lot, with Mike, of course. And that's how I've been playing it. And I honestly just haven't been pulled that much to play it besides when we've been streaming, just because it's hard to put a finger on it. I just think the overall how I feel with the game is, as I say, bottom line, it's fun. It's good fun. However, there's just a lot of like walk from point A to point B, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot else, even though it's pretty cool looking around the environments, seeing what's up with everything. Um, I've liked that, and because the design of everything is fantastic. Like, the creators of this game have done a great job. But I think it's also telling that the focus of the creators was open world. They while of course they would have put a lot of effort into making the levels good and everything, I think they really wanted to show like a Lego game could be an open world game where, it doesn't have to just revolve around the levels of the movies. There can be so much more to it, which there is, because I've had the most fun just doing that sort of stuff. The movie levels have been somewhat disappointing to me. As you said, I completely agree. like, yeah, you just watch cutscenes where I'm like, I should be in this boss fight right now, or the
Mhm.
Battle of Coruscant, I should be flying that ship right now. So
Right.
in that sense, it's been kind of frustrating, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's important to note like how I've been experiencing, because I've been experiencing it different to most people have been playing it, like through streaming. Because that's sort of my focus isn't completely on playing the game and stuff. But yeah, tell us a bit about how you've experienced the game though, Mike, because you've had a slightly different one to me.
Yeah, it's been hard, but I've been trying to juggle that free roam aspect and then also continuing the game as playing the movie levels. But there was just moments where I just wanted to stop playing the movies and go to free roam, and I did that a couple times. I would complete some missions and side missions and get some bricks, and now like I've I went around like replaying some missions too, so I could get more of those studs, so then I could unlock the extras. And right now I think I'm multiplying my stud income by like 8 now or something. Yeah, by 8 or something. Yeah, by 8 or 12 or something. And like I played one level and I almost got like a million studs. And I was like, wow, like I want to buy all those characters and stuff like that. And because
Yeah,
there's a lot to buy. Mama the Hut, shout out Mama the Hut. But
yeah,
I just want to like I want to go out and buy all that stuff because I think that's what comes with Lego games is like collecting all the studs and
yeah,
and
definitely.
paying it off. But yeah, I played prequels first. I you got to watch we I got to watch you play it first, so I had like
Yeah,
some experience with a moment that you got stuck in. I was like, oh yeah, not gonna do that. What Ari did, I
yeah,
just like
yeah,
moved over. And by the way, to our listening audience, as Ari was saying, he was streaming the game on our YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed because Ari still when this goes out, he's still making his way through the game. So you should join us for a stream
yeah,
or two.
yeah,
It's fun connecting with you guys. But I played Phantom Menace, had fun with that one. Miss some moments that were in the complete saga, but I think one thing that just weighs this game down is having strictly going by like 5 levels. I think some movies benefit from that actually, and some
yeah,
other movies you need more than 5 levels to do.
yeah,
And they try to cram everything together, like all the story details. They try to like cover every detail of the movie. Oh yeah, remember when Ray and Leia had this like short conversation? We got to include that in the game somehow. And like you just come off from a mission and you're walking and you got to hear that dialogue, and it just feels like you're
mm,
beat over the head with it. It's like, no, we don't. You
yeah,
guys don't need to do that. I mean, look at the complete saga. I think that they did a wonderful job of you. They couldn't really use voices, but they just did the mumbling, the mumble mode.
yeah,
And I think it was just cool communicating with the player with the visuals that was going on, just because you couldn't really, the characters couldn't really talk. So,
mm,
yeah, I just feel some of it. You asked me how I was doing with it, and some of it I was like, wow, this is like really fun, and as expected, made me fall in love with Star Wars again. I was playing Return of the Jedi. Didn't have much fun with the level in that movie or whatever with those
yeah,
levels. But like at the end, I'm like, I want to go watch Return of the Jedi. Same with Phantom Menace. Same with Attack of the Clones. Revenge of the Sith, not really. I was like, this. I remember you played the first episode, the first level, and you were like, that was kind of mid. And I was like, yeah, it was. I don't know. I was expecting a bit more, but
yeah,
overall, the originals. I'm like, man, I want to go watch Empire again, A New Hope, and sequels as well. When I was playing Last Jedi, I was like, man, I want to go watch Last Jedi right now and Force Awakens. So
yeah,
yeah, it's just made me fall in love with Star Wars all over again. But there's just moments where it just feels like too much and too little at the same time.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. You
yeah,
mentioned two things that I want to talk about. First of all, was that moment I did get stuck. This is a weird thing to say, but I wish that would happen more,
right,
because this game just feels so straightforward. It's like
right,
it just really tells you what to do a little too much, which I understand. It's a Lego game. It's for children. Like you can't make it impossible, and for super nerdy adult gamers who are trying to get a challenge. But
right.
at times it's just like, man, like I would have liked to gotten stuck a bit, because the moment I got stuck in Phantom Menace, I know our friend True as well, who has sent in his take that we're going to read out a bit later. He was saying, yeah, he got stuck on that too. And that's the sort of stuff I find funny. And, I remember back in the day when I was a bit younger playing Complete Saga, I would be like,
Hmm.
I would constantly be looking up on YouTube how to get past this part or whatever. And there's only really been one or two things that I've really gotten stuck on, which people who have watched the streams would have been able to
Hmm.
see my frustrated reaction to. But I like getting frustrated like that. It's pretty fun. The other thing you mentioned was the mumble mode. You still haven't played with it, right?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah, I have, just because I just love the nostalgia of it, and man, it's fantastic. I'm so glad they put this in because it's honestly hilarious. However, I turn it on and off a bit because the voice acting is fantastic. You know, you've got Matt Lanter, Sam Witwer, James Arnold Taylor, and so many more providing these, fantastic voices for the characters. However, it just sometimes you just have to go to the mumble mode because it's so hilarious, and I just love it. But I did feel a little bit like disrespectful. I was like, oh man, I can't disrespect the voice actors like this. They've put in the work. But
Right.
how are you finding that balance? Because obviously I haven't played with it. You're enjoying all the voice acting and stuff.
I am. As I said, I think in one of our editorial videos on the YouTube channel, I was excited to listen to James Arnold Taylor and uh um Matt Lanter do Anakin and Obi-Wan during Revenge of the Sith and say some of those iconic lines. I was like,
Yeah,
wow, this
yeah,
is, I think, the closest we'll ever get to a Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith type movie. So it was like, yeah,
yeah,
like this is great. I loved it. And Steven Stanton as Ben Kenobi once again, played him in Rebels in the episode Twin
yeah,
Sons.
yeah,
So I was like hearing that, and Luke, and I think the whole OG cast, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker, are perfectly casted. I will say Kylo Ren atrocious, but other than that, like they were great, and I just loved hearing the voices because it's not like it was subpar or mediocre voice acting. Like, this is great. Like, this is like high class. So I want to listen to all of it. During the replay, I might do the mumble mode, but I think I just had so much fun listening. Like I said, listening to those voices, getting more of that experience. Because I think hearing those voices was an experience of its own.
yeah,
So I gotta say,
definitely.
I had fun with that. And as you were saying though, with the challenges, we talked about it off air when what were we playing also? A New Hope, and it just seemed more of you were streaming A New Hope, and it just seemed more of like the old school game where
Yeah, yeah.
you had to do more of the puzzle and
Mm,
building. That's another thing. There's barely any building in this game. I could count how many times on my hand I've had to build in this game, and it's just like, sometimes there's like those barricades in the levels where I would just break them down and then build them just to get that satisfaction over and over again of building in the game. So yeah, I just
that.
listen, loved, like I said, made me fall in love with Star Wars again. With the movies, that is, because you and I, we've been raving and ranting about Rebels
Yeah,
and Clone Wars and Bad Batch for a while, but to fall back in love with the movies is another thing. So,
mm,
but yeah,
definitely,
oh man, the puzzles get me stuck in those games. Like, do the
definitely.
job, get me stuck. So I'm
Yeah.
with you.
It's funny you were mentioning who was the voice actor you didn't like, the one for Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that way with the young Anakin one. Like, all of them I
Oh.
think are fantastic, but, oh man, it was pretty jarring hearing the young Anakin, but,
That
is what it
was,
is.
it was.
Yeah, so as you were saying, like, I was streaming A New Hope, and that really felt like that felt a lot better than the prequels. I'm not sure what was going on with the prequels. As I said, I haven't made my way through the whole game yet, but man, the prequels just weren't that great. Like, and you've played the game, and you seem to be in agreement with me. So I don't know what
Yep,
happened there, especially with Revenge of the Sith, because I think both of us share the opinion that that was the funnest movie to play in the complete saga.
yep.
But yeah, like, just watching the Battle of Coruscant happen in a cutscene, and just a lot of little things that I just feel like Revenge of the Sith may have taken a bit of an L, if I'm going to be completely honest, because it just did not. Maybe it's an expectation thing, but it just
Yeah.
didn't really live up to what I was expecting. How do you
But
feel about it?
I mean, same. I mean, but even take away the expectation and you compare it to some of the other levels.
Yeah,
Wow, I was playing Force Awakens and I was like, I was least excited to play this one just because there's a whole game of it already. But I was kind of excited because I haven't even played the game for it. But I was like, I'm having more fun in this one than Revenge of the Sith. And Revenge of
yeah,
the Sith, I think, has great levels. You have Yoda versus Palpatine. I thought that went great, and I love
yeah,
the little Lego moments of adding something in there that's not in the movies, like Typho in the battle. Like I was like, yeah, Typho the G. I was like, that's cool. He was there. But but as we were saying, no Battle of Coruscant. Yeah, I get, but yeah, you take the expectation out of there, you compare it to the other levels, and you're like, wow, these seem more in depth than the other ones. So I don't know what that was like. If one team worked on the sequels, another team worked on the originals, and another team worked on the prequels, or what. But the prequels were very lackey in my opinion, and those were the ones I was most excited to play.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
also
with you.
sequels, also sequels, but because I haven't, they haven't been done in a Lego game, at least Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
But the prequels, I'm like, man, take me back to my childhood, and yeah, I was severely disappointed. But for some reason, as I kept going on with the movie levels, you get to the originals, and we talked about it, A New Hope. I was like, wow, it feels like we're back. Like this feels like where I should have started in the game, and then Empire as well. But yeah, there's what's frustrating though is like I said, there's just some moments and movies that just feel a lot more in depth, and then you have like Revenge of the Sith, man. Like that
yeah,
cutscene, those cutscenes too. I will say, love in that specific level movie where the environment, well, throughout the whole game it's like this, but there it was really cool because you had 1 minute the clones were your friends, the next minute the clones were all trying to shoot you in on Coruscant. So I love how adaptive the environment was. You exiting the Jedi Temple to go confront Palpatine, and it's just been well, actually, was it? Oh no, it was Yoda trying to. Yeah, but anyways, I just love how it's
yeah,
adaptive because being on Coruscant was so cool, and I love exploring it. And it was like, yeah, prequel era, let's go. And then it just became dark, and it was cloudy, and clone troopers were trying to kill you. So yeah, I gotta say,
yeah,
still I had some moments with Revenge of the Sith where I was like, oh man, like even when you were streaming the Obi-Wan versus Anakin, we were a bit still disappointed that like there was so much taken away from that battle, not just because you froze midstream or your game broke down, but
yeah.
like you had to switch back to R2D2 and C3PO to be playing around with like
Yeah,
the
it's just
puzzle thing.
frustrating. And
Hmm.
like I feel like even with the pod race level, like I was like, man, just like the way the camera works and everything, I wasn't feeling it to be honest. But that we've been talking about a lot of the stuff we don't like. Something I've really enjoyed is the cutscenes because I think they've been fantastic. They've been fresh. They haven't been like just copied from the previous game, and they've
Right.
come in here and with a new funny approach. It's just the most classic Lego stuff that I've just been loving. My favorite one has been the Order 67 one. Like that just felt like Lego Star Wars at its best, just classic stuff. But yeah, as you were mentioning as well, like the bugs, they're so frustrating. Like
Yep.
there's been a few times where you've had to quit the game, go back to the loading screen, restart, and then it doesn't save a lot of your progress, so you have to end up doing a lot of the stuff twice. It's just like, man, it can just be a little bit frustrating, but like as we say, this is a Lego game. It is what it is. But yeah,
Mhm.
I've noticed that the characters though super fun to play as. Like the only characters I haven't really enjoyed playing as is like maybe like R2 and stuff, just because I mean we'll touch on that in a bit, but like just because of the way they've sort of changed it so much from the old game, it's taken some getting used to. However, for the most part, like you were mentioning Mum of the Hut on the stream, there was a petition going on in the chat for me to go and unlock Yaddle, which we did.
Oh
So,
yeah.
that have you got a favorite character that you've played as? Are you enjoying the characters?
Gotta say it's probably it's gotta be either Kid Fisto, Shakti, or Jango Fett.
Yeah,
Gotta be one of those three. Shakti,
yeah,
I don't even know what it was, but I was like, "Ooh, someone that looks really different because of her long montrals or whatever you want to call them, head tails
mm,
or whatever." I was like, "Oh man, I gotta play as her. She looks really different than the others." And I guess I could touch on this in a bit when we talk more about the free roam stuff, but yeah, a lot of fun with her, I will say, a lot of fun. But I think
yeah,
Jango Fett is cool too because you have the whole jetpack aspect. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. I would say I've enjoyed. I think it was Padme in Phantom Menace. Just the way
Oh
she
no,
was walking around, thought it was
that
so
was
funny.
so funny with the
I
big
agree
dress,
as
right?
well. Sorry.
With the big dress, her queen
Yeah.
outfit.
Oh, that and the Tatooine one, both of
Oh,
them.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Kit Fisto as well, I agree. He's been super fun. But just a lot of like the amount of versatility is awesome. Like I've like got the DLC luckily, so I've been playing as Quill, Mando, those sorts
Oh,
of
nice.
characters. They've been super fun. Um,
And they each
Yeah.
everyone has their own ability. Like it may if you play Mace
Yeah,
Windu with
yeah.
Mephisto, they all walk
Exactly.
differently, they all jump differently. Yeah, yeah,
That's
they all have
something that
different
they've
strikes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's something they've taken from the OG and made it a lot better because it's like in the OG it was if you're a Jedi, you're a Jedi, you have the exact same ability. But in this,
Yep.
there's a bit of versatility. So
Yep.
um that was really nice to see. Because overall there's a lot that they've taken from like the OG and they made it better. But then there's a lot that it just feels like they've made it a little bit awkward. Like I was alluding to before with R2. Man, where's R2's rockets at?
His
He's jumping
thrusters.
around.
Yeah.
3PO's
Yeah.
jumping around. What and 3PO even sprinting. I kind of liked the way that he would like slowly walk, and that was like the price you had to pay as playing as one of the protocol droids. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, like I don't know, because I know you're the one that even was warning me about it. You were being like, by the way, Archie doesn't have rockets, and the amount of times where I was trying to fly over to something and I would just jump off the edge and die. Like, yeah. Did you find that sort of stuff frustrating as well? Like, sort of the lack of integration from the OG. Like they made like a conscious decision to change stuff, and sometimes for the better, and sometimes it just didn't seem to work out.
Right, and there's that, and also from the OG, I thought that I was like, I mean, I do miss my cantina brawls when you were in the cantina
Yes,
from the
yes,
complete saga and you smack someone silly upside the head, and the entire cantina erupted in a big ruckus, and everyone started shooting and blasting each other. That was fun. So I
yeah.
wish we got more of that in because I don't like it. I don't like hitting someone in the game and then everyone running away. I was like, I want to start a fight. I fight back.
We
I don't
want to
want
fight. Yeah,
to fight. Like we want to fight. So it's like fight back. I don't like hitting people in the game and when I'm running place to place because I'm like they're just gonna run away. I want someone to like engage and fight me. I will say I'm not sure
yeah,
if this was a glitch in the game. So when they were around the Shock T and clone troopers started shooting at me, I was like, what is this? But
yeah,
it was weird, but I think R2 is the most frustrating for me because I would always love to be R2 because you got to be with the thrusters and it would be really cool
yeah. It was
to
satisfying.
and even though he made Dagobah, that was a awful level in the complete saga because I kept falling into the swamp.
Disagree. I love that one.
No, I loved it, but the thing was, like, at the beginning when you land, I kept falling into the swamp sometimes, and R2 was,
Yeah,
like, the saving grace because you just got to be
yeah,
like,
yeah. You
"Careful,
just
careful, alright, next time."
glide
So
right over. Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
yeah,
So, oh, man, even Dagobah was done dirty in this game. I yet to explore, but just the missions, but, yeah,
yeah,
I would say C-3PO 2, love the running, but I do miss taking off limbs off him, and then he'd be hopping around with one leg, and now it's just I kind of like that where he like pieces off together and he can go into do his own thing. But
yeah, yeah. That was
yeah,
something that I found really cool,
that was
and like
cool.
just a bit innovative as well. Like change it up a little bit in a good way.
And I don't know what it is, but from the complete saga, I mean, it's very hard to top that game. So it's really
Yeah,
not fair comparing. But because it is the predecessor, it's like you kind of it's the
you
closest thing you
can't
can
help
compare
but
it to,
yeah,
So there's in the I felt like in the complete saga, no matter where you were, no matter where you went, the other characters, the NPCs or whatever you want to call them, or they just would follow you. They would follow you
yeah,
wherever you went. And in this game, I have to find myself like switching back to Finn or whatever, and
mm,
having to run the same course again just to get them all on the other side with me. And I'm like, oh, that is so
yeah, yeah.
frustrating. But yeah, I would have
No,
to say
definitely.
it's frustrating.
Yep, yep. So I think so. We're about to read some listener responses. We put out a question saying send in your thoughts to of the Lego Star Wars into our Instagram account, which is down here at the SW Exchange. Make sure you are following that because we're going to do more of this where we ask for listeners' takes and whatnot, which we're going to do today. Read some of those out. But before we do read those out, I wanted to ask. So, you've finished the game. The
Yes.
only Lego stuff we didn't have was Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, even though you sort of rushed through those just to get to this podcast. From what you can recall, how are you feeling about, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker? Because those are the only ones we haven't seen in Lego. What are you thinking?
There were some moments where I was like, oh, there's a problem in this game. It feels so rushed, right?
Yeah.
Like before I touch into the other two movies, Force Awakens, Like I said, continuous problem in the game. I was like, wow, you got me through all of the cool stuff and the attack on Starkiller Base. And
Yeah.
now it's the lead up where it's like, oh, I get to go in the little chamber how Poe does, where his seatbelt's like flowing to one side, and he's like, yeah, BB-8's like bobbing his head up and down while you're like
Yeah.
shooting inside
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
oscillator. So it's like, I can't wait for that moment. I go down the trench and then it cuts into a cutscene. So I felt like
Yeah.
there was just
Frustrating.
moments in the sequel trilogy. Because here's the thing, Ari, there's Battle of Coruscant I could get over. Um, because it's like, well, I really can't get over it. But I'm like, you know what? If I want to play Battle of Coruscant, I'll play the
Go
complete
to the
saga
old
game,
one.
right?
Yeah.
With the sequel game, there's so many of those glorious moments from the movies that you're like, oh, can't wait to do that, can't wait to touch that, and it's a cutscene. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to participate in that battle. I wanted to duel that duel. I wanted to, there's just moments like that where it's like, dang, you just cut it away in a cutscene, and I really wanted to be able to play it. So, but I will say when I started the what was it, the first level of by the way, the cutscenes, as you said, they have never been funnier. I was like
Yeah.
laughing my head off at some of them. I
Yeah.
was like, that is so funny. And as you were saying, they're like fresh and new. So like, and
Yeah.
it was very cool experiencing Last Jedi. Again,
Mm.
Force Awakens, because I had not played the main game for that, but playing Last Jedi, like there's when all the ships are coming from, there's this really cinematic shot looking
Mm.
down at the car, and all the ships are racing out, fleeing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, give me the music's revving up, the ships are getting out of there, cool, 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 just like the movie. And then there's a moment where Paul Dameron's X-wing is coming, and then he just crashes into the camera. It is the funniest gag ever. I was like, oh my god, and oh, that is
Yeah.
so funny. But I played the Dreadnought level, and I was like, it felt like I was in the movie in Last Jedi. Like every day set up all their pieces right, the dialogue was all there. I was like the funny little gag moment right before you slipped into the level, and oh
Yeah.
man, I absolutely loved it, and it made me remember what I absolutely love about this game. The level you're on when the going gets tough and they start to play like that battle music, the battle music is synonymous with whatever scene or movie that you're playing from. Like you're not going to hear some of that cool epic prequel Duel of the Fates music in while you're like fighting stormtroopers on the Death Star in A New Hope. That's just not going to happen. Complete Saga would always do that, or throw some track in there, but they're very respectful of what a time period they're in and what music they use. Like some of the music that I was playing in the car, straight from the Last Jedi soundtrack, straight from the scene, wasn't going back to March of the Resistance from Force Awakens. It
Yeah. Yeah.
stuck right to its chord. So I loved it. And like I said, playing the sequels was fun. I mean, there's new appreciation for those movies from me that I'm like, oh man, that's cool. That is a cool moment or
Yeah.
whatnot. So yeah, I had a lot of fun playing that, and I like I said, there's moments where I'm like, oh dang, can't do anything about that. They just glossed over it. Hopefully, in a future
Yeah.
Lego
Yeah.
game, we can play that cool battle. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's. Are you excited to play the sequels?
Very, very, especially Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, just because like anything that has never been like done in Lego before in a Lego game, I'm excited for. So yeah. While you get that first response ready, there was just one last thing I wanted to
Yes.
say, which was I think the gameplay frustrated me a lot, especially the combat is what I felt. It was like I don't know what it is, but I used to just love just button mashing and just
Hmm.
like maybe I'm contradicting myself here because I'm asking for more of a challenge. And then when there is a challenge, I'm like, no, no, I just want to button mash and kill the guy. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, blocked, blocked, and like you have to do all this stuff. I don't know. That's frustrating me. I like just button mashing, just being like, shoot, dead. But now it's like shoot them 20 times, and they go, and then get the next one. It's just like obviously not 20. That's an exaggeration, but
It
you
feels
know
like that
yeah, it feels like it's just a bit
because
frustrating, but overall, like the game is great. Like it's fun. It's exactly what I sort of expected, but I just wish there was more puzzles. I wish there was a bit more of a challenge, but
yeah,
it's a good game.
I feel you. I mean, I sometimes it feels like it's easier to defeat the bosses than the pawns, and I it was so easy defeating Palpatine, but yet like defeating some of the guards or stormtroopers felt like it was endless, and I was like, oh man, like I'm just like make the boss battles a bit harder because boss battles are just a they're no more than button mashing for that, and I'm like, it's
Yeah.
fun. It reminds me of the old Lego games when you could just walk up to playing Lego Batman, walk up to Joker and start beating the crap out of him. But yeah, I have to agree. And you know what? Are we gonna talk about the open world here, or are we gonna get into it in some of our topic questions
Yeah, we'll
or
get into it in on
responses?
with some of the responses.
Okay.
But yeah, let's speaking of, let's get into that with our first one. I think you'll read it out.
Yes,
So
our first one comes from what James, and he says, "Ooh, he sends his good overall thoughts," and he says, "Full honesty, I give the game 9 out of 10. Oh, okay. The gameplay mechanics are really good. Offered plenty of things to do outside of the main story. They managed to make the sequels a genuinely enjoyable experience, and also managed to maintain the comedy of previous games throughout, while ensuring that there were jokes available to an older audience as well." You have mission titles like Better Call Saul, Chewbacca Defense, but where I think the game fell down a little was in both the shortness of the main story levels and the fact that certain things that really should have been playable weren't. For example, the destruction of the second Death Star. I agree, James. But overall, it's a great game, and I'm absolutely loving it. Thank you, James, for your take. Ari, what do you think?
yeah, I mean, I agree with him on the comedy, exactly right. But yeah, I mean, I actually haven't got to Return of the Jedi, but I feel that same way as I was saying with the Revenge of the Sith stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I agree with James. I mean, love that you're loving the game. I don't know what I'd rate it yet. Maybe we'll do that later in this episode.
yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
for me, I agree with you. Second, there's a term that Ari used that I'm not gonna say on air, but I was like, oh man, this is so right. Like th- I had so many of those moments where I'm like, ooh, next is gonna come the battle, the second battle, the Death Star. Awesome,
Oh,
cool.
I remember it now. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I wanted to fly
yeah,
in there
definitely
and
don't say
blow it up
that.
myself, and, oh, man, I James, you nailed it, you nailed it. But,
Yeah,
yeah, we have another response, and that comes
for
from
sure.
Huari.
We got it from Charlie, who sends in his thoughts,
Yes.
and he says that he's playing it through with his roommate while they're enjoying it. The co-op functionality is pretty broken. It's not that it doesn't function at all or cause any performance stability issues. It's just pretty clear that the game was not really designed with two players in mind. Which I haven't played co-op, but that disappoints me a little bit to hear because I think you're the same. We had that experience of playing with our brothers, and that was sort of
Right.
the thing that you would do. So to hear that the co-op functionality doesn't really work that well because I haven't actually played it with this game yet is kind of disappointing to hear. But yeah, do
Right.
you feel the same?
Yeah, I mean, you and I have talked about when we're in person for whatnot reasons, we're gonna play co-op.
Yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
hopefully, what if there's any issues now, they better fix it by the time we meet up because I want that to go pretty seamless. But that's disappointing, and yeah, I appreciate his take.
Yeah. Oh, and just to finish it off, he says at the end, overall, it just lacks the cooperative actions that the previous game had. Simple things like pulling levers in the complete saga or one person landing their ship to activate something on foot while the other flies around in Lego Star Wars 3. That's not necessarily a problem, but it makes for a co-op experience that isn't nearly as engaging as the older games. We're still having fun, but most of our fun comes from laughing at the kind of broken co-op sections. I'm definitely excited to replay it solo as it seems to be how it was meant to be played. So that's a very interesting perspective of the game.
Yeah,
But yeah, not that good to hear that that's not working out. But thanks very much for sending in your take, Charlie. He had a lot more to say, but
yeah, he
man,
did.
I think I would mess that up if I read it all out. But yeah, Charlie's got some great takes for sure. So thank you for sending that in.
Shout out Charlie. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah.
And our third take comes in from. Let me pull up here. I'm clicking the same person. It comes from Nick. And Nick says, Skywalker Saga is great. Just wish we could play the major space battles and the levels were longer. You know what, Nick? I agree with you. I
Short
was
and sweet.
I short and sweet and to the point. Love it. You know what, Ari, you got me excited about this game. Wasn't really excited because I was like, oh, it's just a remake, which by the way, but despite all our criticisms of the game,
Yeah,
it is not a
it's a lot
remake.
more than that.
It's a
Yeah.
lot more. It's a lot more. But One of the things that you excited me for was you when we're doing that little tidbit on our first podcast post Book of Boba Fett, you're like, man, check out all the trailers, check out all the things that they've been doing for this game. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'll give it a shot. So I did. And I was like, I'll do some Instagram coverage of it. And in that, I found the in-depth detail that they were doing for like these space battles. I'm having fun with them, but it's not the full scale that they made it seem out to be. Like it seemed like you got to board, enemy capital ships with like boarding parties and have like a party inside the hangar and take it over and stuff like that. It's not really that. I did, as I was alluding to earlier with Shock T, I got to board a Trade Federation ship. I was like, ooh, just like the end of for a Phantom Menace of that level. But it's a lot
Yeah.
more than that. You have to go around, take out all the turrets from the top and bottom, I think, and then you make yourself wait, or you have the option of just taking out the engines and exploding the Trade Federation itself. You destroy the engines with proton torpedoes, or you can go inside and take it over. But it was so funny because I went in there and I was like, okay, what do I gotta do? Do I have to make my way to the bridge, take over controls? Like, how does that work? So I
Yeah.
go in there and I'm fighting droids, and it's this like Nemodian leader, and he's running around and around and around and around and around, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? And there's like a quick little puzzle that you have to do, and then you have to like chase him. But the thing is, every time battle droids would pop up, and I would like, cut them down, and he would get farther along. I'm like, I'm never gonna catch up to this guy. He's just gonna keep running. So I
Yeah.
keep running, chasing him, and I just start avoiding the droids. Like I don't even care if they shoot me anymore. And I start targeting the Nemodian with my lightsaber. So I would throw it at him, hit him, he would slow down. And I did it like 7 more times, and I finally caught up to him. So that was fun. You took him prisoner, and then you got to like you had the option of buying the ship. Haven't reached that yet where I want to make that financial decision of buying a Trade Federation ship. But when we get there, I can't wait to experience what it is. Haven't encountered a Star Destroyer, Super Star Destroyer, but I do
Yeah.
hope I get hope for the bad guys. I would love to be Jango Fett and then raid a Venator or something, a Republic cruiser. That would be really fun. But from that aspect, as to what our lovely community member was saying, I do agree that yeah, like I said, I Battlefront 2, the 2005 one, all I played on there was the space battle. So I found this game very lacking, but I do love some of the space stuff. Ari, we all know you love flying. All our YouTube live streamers, our watchers know that you love flying. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's quite the opposite. I do not enjoy it for whatever reason. I don't know. It's the same in Battlefront 2. I just don't love the flying stuff. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can't even recall what flying missions I've actually had so far. Oh, there was one with yeah, the Jango Fett one. That was good, and I don't know.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
right.
it was solid, but I haven't really got a decent crack at having the flying ones yet. I'm disappointed the Death Star 2 one isn't in because I found that one fun, but like I'm excited to do the like the trench run and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. You'll have fun at the asteroid field in Empire Strikes Back. But once
Yeah.
again, once it gets to a cool moment, it just takes you into a cutscene rather than playing the game. So, yeah.
Yeah. Our final take comes in from True, friend of the show, aka Star Wars dude, of course.
Hey,
And he sends in his overall thoughts, and he says, I'm really enjoying myself. Overall, my expectations were met with the detail, immersion, and charm that the LEGO games usually employ on full display. The levels definitely were hit or miss, and the pace of the game took some getting used to when you're first starting off the story. I think the prequel levels were definitely the ones that underwhelmed me, and I was disappointed by some key scenes that had great playability potential, like the Battle of Coruscant, the crate speeders, Palpatine's office duel, etc. The originals and sequels, I think, made up for it though, and overall, I can't complain about levels when there is a whopping 45 of them, and this game got delayed like 3 times. I definitely think the open world slash free play element is the meat and potatoes of this game, and where its longevity will be found. And on that front, I'm having a great time playing, so I'd 100% recommend this game because, like all the Lego installments, it is a pure celebration of the saga. Great message from True. Great
that's a great
take
rundown.
on
Yeah.
the game. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with him on the I think I said at the start of the episode or in our conversations, but I definitely think that the open world is the meat of the game.
Yeah,
Like I've I think I put this on my story, but I'm like, I'm gonna catch me or in some conversation, I'm like, catch me playing this for the next couple months. I'm just gonna keep
yeah,
playing the
yeah,
open world and I do agree with True. You know, we what he said, we basically said prequel levels were very
yeah, yeah,
underwhelming. Yeah, yeah, like the speeders on crate. Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah, man, I just yeah, great take from True. Great overall thoughts. Basically, capitalize what we said. So yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
no more to add to that beautiful statement.
No, yeah, I'm with him. That is, I'm in agreement completely. But yeah. So before we wrap up, you said open world stuff. Was there anything you want to add talking about that?
Pretty much. Uh, Okay, I do. Okay, there's the planets. I love just going around exploring.
Yeah,
Coruscant. Wanted to touch on okay, I just want to share this story. Coruscant, I was just like, let me just walk around and see what there is to do and encountered so many things. Like it's so like you these planets that they're everywhere, all the environments, they do not feel lonely at all. Ari and I
yeah, yeah,
joked in the complete saga game, they had like this these two extra levels that you got to go in there and just mess around and play and whatnot and
yeah,
like build things however you wanted or move a bantha around.
yeah.
It was
Like the
fun.
Lego Town, Lego Land, or whatever they were
Lego,
called.
what
Yeah,
yeah,
Lego
Lego City,
City, Lego City.
like
Yeah,
but the thing is that it got so boring after a while, like after maybe an hour of playing it, right? It
yeah,
just got like so lonely. I was like, oh my god, this game is
yeah,
quite the opposite. You're these even though no one fights back at you, these planets feel so inhabited. These
yeah.
communities feel
A
so
lot of life.
um
Yeah,
full of life and
yeah,
that's exactly what I love about this game because if everything felt empty, like even the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, you would think, oh, it's just gonna be quiet and whatnot. No, there's people
yeah,
walking around, citizens. There's
yeah.
Padawans training. I love it.
And you
There's
can
things to
interact.
do.
Yeah,
You could
yeah,
interact, and I love
yeah,
it. And I was like, oh my god, like that's so cool. Like who thought we could get that in a Lego game? Um, so
yeah,
yeah, but I just went walking around, found so many things to do, found someone's speeder was hijacked and you needed to go find the thief and that was a cool little thing and then I fell through I don't even know how I got there but I fell down and I was like oh my god I'm gonna die and I landed on like on a sub level and then I ended up getting like this cool data card that you could use to unlock extras. And I was like, "Oh
yeah.
my gosh,
Nice.
that's so cool." So, yeah, seriously, if you're not having fun with the main game with the levels, which fair enough. And we're older, Ari is 18, I'm 23. It's like, are we really
Yeah,
gonna be that, playing a Lego game, be like, oh yeah. I mean, I like I said, I feel like a little kid again playing it for all the right
yeah, yeah,
reasons. But there's just moments where I'm like, man, if they just took that extra step, I would have completely love this game. But yeah, you should definitely check out the open world stuff. There's lots to do. I don't want this to become a it will fall in order. I will say there was little things to do on the side, but it was still fun. But like people play the main game and then dip from the game. Like, no, like go
yeah,
explore the planets. You find out
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool things. So please, if you finish the game and you're like, all right, that's it. No, trust me, the meat of the game, as also true, well, True said, the meat and potatoes of the game is the free roam, is the free galaxy play. Play
yeah.
it. Go to every single planet and go to all the locations within the planet and have a blast. Have an explore.
Absolutely. And yeah, before we wrap up, let's give us your overall rating of the game.
Ooh, this is tough. I right now where I'm at, haven't really. I'm nowhere near completing the game anytime soon with all the in-depth detail
Yeah,
that is free roam. But right now, I'd
yeah,
probably give it a 7.5 out of 10.
yeah, yeah. Interesting.
Now that you
Um,
you haven't finished the game, but where would where what would you rank it now?
yeah, I
How
mean,
would you rate
I
it?
I think just with everything we've talked about, firstly, I hope we haven't come off as too negative or anything. Like both of us are
Right,
loving this game. Like it's very
right.
fun. It's just like we're sort of at like this age where like we grew up with that game. So this is like it's almost like a sensitive subject for us. It's like you
Yeah,
got to respect that what where this came from.
right, right.
Like sort of like that. I feel so. Um, but like yeah, overall, as I say, I'm just having fun. Like this is just a fun game. It's not. There's some issues I have with it. I haven't finished it yet, so keep that in mind. But I think something that's important to note, and I just want to mention this before we wrap up. I think everyone likes their Lego games different. Like the things that I liked about the complete saga might have been different to what you liked about it. Just like with little gameplay things, what I find satisfying and enjoying, and what you do. Like, it's just different for everyone. I feel like so
Right,
some of the stuff that we've said we've really found frustrating, there could be people like, oh, but I love that, and that's
right,
and
right.
that's awesome. So that's what it's all about. But overall, I probably give it a 7 so far, which is good. A 7 is good. But obviously I haven't finished. I'll probably have a different opinion once I finish all the movies, and then a different opinion again once I finish all the free play. So, but right now, yeah, I'm sitting at around a 7. But yeah, I think that just about wraps us up.
Yes, it does. And you know what? We talk Lego here, but don't miss our live streams. Ari's
Yeah.
barely. You haven't even finished A New Hope, right?
I haven't. I haven't. No.
So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're
Yeah.
on listening on Apple, Spotify, before you rate us, actually rate us beforehand, and then go jump
Five
on the YouTube
stars.
5 stars
Yeah.
and 5 stars from. You know what? You know how it works. Jump over to YouTube, subscribe, like, turn on the notification bell because we don't really do scheduled live streams. We'll be like wake up one day,
Yeah.
and be
So a
like, you
bit
know what?
impulsive. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit impulsive, but it's fun. It's fun, and we've been having a great time connecting with people there, like
Yeah.
Leo,
Yeah.
Richard, Parks.
Yeah.
He came through by, so Chelsea as well, like
X Wolf,
X
and
Wolf.
a huge shout out. I was going to mention this huge shout out to Shane.
Yes,
Recently, we gave him a moderation role because he's always showing up to the live streams, engaging with the chat. So shout out to Mod Shane.
Mod Shane. There we go. So you
Yeah.
heard it here. Subscribe to our YouTube and also our Instagram page. People got to speak with us directly and share their take about the game. So if you want to communicate with us, our lines are always open for questions and stuff. Make sure you DM us. It's down
Yeah.
here, folks, at the SW Exchange on Instagram.
Yeah.
Follow us. We actually hit 100 followers, so
Yeah.
we're already like at almost 130. So that's a big jump from where we were last time,
Yeah.
where we
Yeah.
reported. And YouTube just hit 500 subs. We're growing every single day. So
Yeah. Thanks heaps.
Ari, Ari is too. And Ari, where you at, and where can people keep up with you?
Yep. Find me on Instagram at styles_exchange and Twitter at the SW Exchange. Obviously, as Mike said, make sure you get on the podcast Instagram page at the SW Exchange. All the takes we read out today were people that sent in messages to that account. So yeah, make sure you get on it.
Do it, do it. And you guys can find me on _Star Wars for more Lego conversations. But also, yeah, tune into the live streams because we have a lot of fun on those. And
For
as we've
sure.
said a lot of times already, it's just fun talking with you guys. So come chat
Yeah.
with us, come ask us questions, and come talk Lego Star Wars. And also, most importantly, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you let us know what your thoughts are on the game. Let us know what you would rate it, what you love about the game, what you might think, yeah, that could need some, a few more months working on. Let us know
Yeah.
in our comment section and let us know. All right, guys.
For
Until
sure.
next time, I'm Mike. That's Ari. May the force be with you. Adios.
See ya.